Greetings. Let us discuss problem definition statement. Problem definition statement is a document that contains four categories. First one is the symptoms that inform us that we have a problem. So symptoms are usually changes in the dependent variable or its proxies. For example, if our symptom is declining sales, so instead of just using sales as the dependent variable, we use customer purchase intention as a proxy. The reason we don't use sales is sales can change, fluctuate due to various reasons. For example, if a company is, even though a company is performing badly, its sales can be good if the company is running a promotion scheme. So we don't usually use sales profits, but rather we use customer purchase intention in the belief that if we can improve customer purchase intentions, then the sales and profits would automatically improve by themselves. So we have the symptoms. We list the symptoms in the problem definition statement. And in the next section, we list the causes. What causes the change in the dependent variable? For example, what can influence customer purchase intentions? And third one is the hypothesis section, or this is the speculation, our assumptions about the relationship between causes and symptoms. And finally, the consequences. What are the consequences or the decisions that we need to take? So some samples can help us to understand this properly. So this is a sample symptom statement. So for example, in this situation, sales at a local retail store decreased. So we conducted an exploratory research by assessing results of customer satisfaction surveys that was conducted by the store, talking to some frontline employees and using other records of the company. So this analysis revealed that customer satisfaction levels at the store have decreased considerably in the last few months. So we observed that the sales is down. So we analyzed the company records. We analyzed the company's customer satisfaction surveys. We spoke to some frontline employees, and then we found that their customer satisfaction levels are down. So we naturally connect customer satisfaction with sales. So here the dependent variable becomes customer satisfaction. So the symptom is customer satisfaction, decreased customer satisfaction scores. So we choose the dependent variable customer satisfaction. And the cause. So our exploratory research reveals that service quality at the store has decreased considerably due to crowding. So there is crowding at the store, lot of customers, and the customer wait time increases at the store. So the store did not hire more employees to reduce crowding. So this resulted in lower service quality and increased crowding. So here the independent variable is service quality and crowding. So we find that there is big crowd. So we can do that by observing the store, talking to the employees. So they say that there is more crowding. So more customers simply leave without buying anything, or customers simply buy less due to crowding. So here our independent variables are service quality and crowding at the store. So we come up with a hypothesis that speculates the relationship between these two variables. So we have two hypotheses. So since we have two independent variables that are connected to the dependent variable, we have two hypotheses or speculations which say that H1 or hypothesis 1, service quality at the store has a direct positive relationship with customer satisfaction. And hypothesis 2, crowding at the store has a direct negative relationship with customer satisfaction. So even though we say that service quality causes customer satisfaction, we are not doing this as a causal study, because then we have to have an experimental group and a treatment group. So we are doing a descriptive research. So descriptive research simply finds out the association or the correlation between two variables. So the meaning of these two hypotheses is that as service quality levels increase, customer satisfaction level increases. And as crowding levels increase, customer satisfaction declines. So that is what we mean by having a direct positive relationship and a direct negative relationship. So the consequences. So if both hypotheses are proved to be correct, so we test the hypothesis by conducting a survey or a descriptive research. So then let us say that we conduct the survey, we measure the store's service quality levels and the customer satisfaction levels and conduct a correlation analysis. We find that service quality and customer satisfaction have a correlation of 0.89. So this means that a 10% improvement in service quality results in a 8.9% improvement in customer satisfaction. In same way, crowding and customer satisfaction have a negative correlation of 0.50. So this means a 10% improvement in crowding will improve customer satisfaction by 5%. So based upon this, we have to come to a decision, the management decision or the managerial decision. So then we decide to hire 5 new employees at a cost of $15 an hour to improve customer satisfaction levels by 15%. So if we want to represent this our study as a picture, because in a picture form it is more easy to understand. So we can I came up with this diagram just by using MS Word and the pencil. Apple Pencil. So it's like the SQ refers to service quality, the crowd refers to crowding and customer satisfaction. So our hypothesis 1 say that service quality and customer satisfaction have a positive relationship, and hypothesis 2 says that crowding and customer satisfaction have a negative relationship. So if you want to improve customer satisfaction, we have to increase service quality and decrease crowding. So this is what we come up with as a problem definition statement for a descriptive research type of study, and visual presentation for experimental research. So like doing an experiment. So 90% of marketing or management studies are exploratory studies only. So only studies that have a control group and treatment group can prove causality, X causes Y, and they are considered as experimental studies. So they are rare. Like mostly advertising research uses experimental research design. So for example, this is the sample problem definition statement for experimental research. For example, smoking causes cancer. So here the dependent variable is cancer rates. The independent variable, smoking the equivalent of 4 cigarettes a day. So the hypothesis, mice. So we conduct the analysis by using lab rats. So mice exposed to equivalent smoking of 4 cigarettes a day have increased levels of lung cancer rates compared to control group mice that are not exposed to smoke. So consequences, if the hypothesis is proved to be correct, we can reduce the smoking levels by increased cigarette taxes to decrease cancer rates. So this is a public policy study. So this study hypothesizes or theorizes that if we have two groups of mice, one is the control group and the treatment group, and if we expose the treatment group to smoke from cigarettes equivalent of smoking 4 cigarettes a day, then they will have increased cancer rates compared to control group mice that are not exposed to smoke. So if the hypothesis proved to be correct, then it shows that smoking causes cancer, so which is obvious. I'm just using this as an example. So this study proves that smoking causes cancer, and by controlling smoking, we can control the level of cancer rates. So the pictorial representation of this study. So this is a graph. We represent this or show this as a graph. We show the study results. So we have cancer rates from 0 to 100%. So the control group only has 15% cancer rate, but whereas the treatment group has nearly 75% cancer rates after the experiment is over. So we prove that the difference between the treatment group and the control group is nearly like 4 or 5 times higher, and we attribute this increase in the cancer rate of the treatment group, lung cancer rate of the treatment group, to them being exposed to smoke. So this is a sample of our problem definition statement for both descriptive research and an experimental research design. So initially you will need to come up only with symptoms, causes, and hypothesis. We won't know the consequences yet. So to have the consequences, we have to conduct the research, but you can write down the symptoms, you can write down the causes or the independent variables, you can write down the hypothesis, and in the consequences you can write if both the hypotheses are proved to be correct, what is the decision that we are going to take, and then the statistics part we can fill it up later.